a personal one. So I'm not a cosplayer.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have no idea what it is other than people dressing up as their favorite characters in from certain media, from animes, cartoons, from movies, games. But I'm pretty sure it's more than just dressing up as the character, right? So
Yeah.
so so what else is there like? Do you study about the character
Oh.
and all that,
Sorry, go with Ellie first.
Ellie?
Oh. Yeah. Different people have different ways to prepare for a character. The most common one is to do research on the character, or if you're doing a character from a game, you start playing the game. You start understanding this character, and it's a chicken and egg thing. One can come before the other. Usually, the normal way is that you like this character for who this character is, and then you start cosplaying as it. But nowadays, when there's so many different shows and games coming up, especially cosplayers, they would see the designs first, and sometimes the designs catch their eye, and that's why they do the research to become the character. And as you said, like, it's not just like dressing up as your favorite character. I would say because like Dova and I, we both also like compete, so we take in to account like the accuracy of your costume, how you can portray the character. And I think one that people often overlook is how can you make the character fit in and relate to yourself. It doesn't always have to be like the same design as the anime or the game, although it's accurate. But sometimes it doesn't fit for us. Like say like these proportions don't fit us, the wig doesn't look nice on us, then you have to like start adjusting it to yourself, and that's how you start personalizing and making cosplay more closer to yourself.
So
All
let's
right.
move on
Yeah.
to the next question. So, you guys think of buying costume compared to making them yourself?
Oh, I'm gonna hide my face now.
Does it make you any less of a cosplayer if you buy costumes?
Oh.
Nova, you want to take this one?
When I first started, there's definitely a more emphasis towards making your own costumes. People are like, you make your own costumes, you are a good cosplayer. But then both are legit as long as you, as a cosplayer, make effort when you cosplay. So it's not just like putting on a wig and then a costume and like, hey, I'm cosplaying, but like you're totally out of character. It's not like that. Yeah, so I think both ways are okay. Buying, commissioning, or even your own costumes, they're all acceptable. So no one is less of a cosplayer just because you do any of these. Yeah.
That's a great share right there. Ellie, what about you?
I wouldn't say you are less of a cosplayer if you purchase your costume, but I think it's just more of like bonus points, like, oh, if you crafted it yourself, because you made it personalized to yourself, you made it from scratch, so you kind of like inside out the character. However, I don't think there's much of a difference unless you're trying to go like competitive and go for competitions where they actually require you to craft your cosplays sometimes. But let's say if you do purchase your costumes, right? Like you can still make it your own. You can still adjust the wig, style it to yourself. So in the end of the day, you still have a character. Both of you still have a character. So I don't think there's like much difference. Back then, right? Actually, when they all started, I heard this from people because I'm a new cosplayer, right? But they said like you couldn't buy cosplays because there wasn't much demand or supply for it. So that's why a lot of people resorted to crafting. And nowadays, when we have Taobao so easily accessible,
Taobao.
yeah,
Our Lord and Savior Taobao.
we have like in America like Amazon. Then people like find it easier to cosplay because they can just purchase it online, and it's actually not generally a bad thing because now we get to see new cosplayers and everybody gets to express their hobby and their passion for the character, which is a great thing. Like even for myself, I started thinking like I couldn't get this costume online, so I started crafting everything. And it takes a lot of time and you learn new skills. That's the best part actually. The best part is honestly you learn new skills. Yeah, but when you start getting busy and got work, studies, it's understandable for you to commission your own costumes or buy your own costumes online.
Up there.
I think the most I've came to being recognized on in person is But it's like my friend's like mutual, like it's like her wedding, so it's a bit awkward. Like suddenly I don't know, like some guy came out and was like, "Hey, you're in Lemonade, right? What? Who are you?" But I mean, like understandably, it's like the it's like mutual. Her mutuals and my mutuals are like all like gamers, and like maybe like once or twice like he has seen my picture like online. So it was. I think that's the only time I got recognized. So, like the only time I was like, oh, okay. It was like shocking. It was like interesting. It was very much an experience. And then he's like, oh, selfie. I'm like, okay. And then I was like in like normal. I'm not even in costume or anything. I was like, okay, smile.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's the time of like recognizing. For stalkers or weird encounters, I think one of the weirdest one is just like when someone came up and asked for a picture and then like straight away asked for like a hug, and then it's yeah, because like they like the character so much, right? And then you're just like, but I'm a person. And I think a lot of people should keep this in mind, cosplayers. I understand that some people think like, oh, I'm not big enough lah to think about that, but when it does happen, right, you need to like, you think about it a little bit. Like when it happens, how do you react? Because I do notice a lot of people, like I've read some stories online that when they get asked these questions, they're just too shocked to reject, because they're just like, what? Yes. Then they start getting getting uncomfortable. So it's always important to know your boundaries, even if you're not aiming to be famous or to be an idol. In case anybody does come out and ask you for it, and know your boundaries, enforce it. It's also not always bad to be recognized lah. So when people come up to you, especially it's just for me, especially little kids, and then they be like, oh my god, this character, and it's like super cute, it makes your heart melt.
Babies running around like, Elsa, come back!
The worst event, I don't think that it was for a private birthday event, and the reason why it was worse is because the schedules kept changing and the job scope wasn't listed in detail. So eventually our working time became like 9 to 3 a.m., which was not like agreed on.
3 a.m.
Yeah, and we had to like tell them like, that's like an odd hour to work, we're gonna include like extra charges, and they're just like, oh, but we said it's like 6 hours, ma. You said okay, ma. I'm like, what? But I'm already buying a cosplay, so it's like, oh my gosh, okay. Just like make sure you enforce, like, if you're doing something uncomfortable, and especially if it's odd hours, make sure you increase your charges if you are a working cosplayer, of course. So that was like the best and worst.
3 a.m. though, that's a bit too, actually not a bit, it's straight too much already.
Yes, it's very dangerous, very scary, would not recommend, okay?
Oh my goodness. Were you at least cosplaying with someone else?
Yeah, I was talking with somebody else, and we had friends with us, so at least they could take care of us lah. But I do feel bad for them, because the patrons were like, we don't want your so-called saikang or your helpers to be there with all the guests, so they have to sit aside, and then they just sat there for 6 hours until 3 a.m. So it was very kasihan also.
I know.
Yeah.
Treat them sama mak later.
Yeah. Whatever freebies we could get from the event, we just give it all to them. Food, we just like give them food, they'll feed them food. They're like, thank you so much for taking care of me.
But yes, cosplay helpers, props to you guys, man.
Yeah, man, the heroes that we need.
They are the true MVP.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Shout out to CF, Comic Fiesta, and also Animangaki. Yay! So like both events are really good if you are new to cosplay or cosplay events in general. Very friendly, and then like there's a lot of content for you. You can meet a lot of people there.
All right, so let's move on to the next question, next topic. What are your thoughts on cosplaying with your partner? Ooh la la.
Yeah.
Shall we start with Dova, please?
It's very fun. It makes me happy. Like I can cosplay my OTP. Like if you play League of Legends, right? What's a Saya without a Rakan?
That's true.
Yeah. So like I also cosplay with my boyfriend sometimes. Like he actually started cosplaying because of me.
That's really nice of him.
Yeah. So like I get to torture him, and then I put him in uncomfortable wigs and makeup and stuff. And then he's just like, yes.
Oh, so sweet. Ellie, how about you?
Same thing, I guess. When I first started cosplaying, like I said, it was Zaya, right? What's a Zaya? I can't high five over.
All the Rocket and Zaya cosplayers.
Yeah, so at that time, we just did it for fun, and we kind of liked it a lot. Then I think like we did another 2 more, like sort of couple/ship cosplays. And it's like any other hobby that you guys get together with, lah. Like you share the same passion for it, share the same hobby. Then essentially you spend time with each other, and it's great. And I think it's really cute when I see people like they walk around in like conventions and they just like hang out with each other, and then like they dress up as like the same like same show or manga or game characters that have like this like affiliation to each other. It's super cute. I think I also want to add on, like, because I do know some people who have significant others who doesn't cosplay, and their significant other is a cosplayer who is like maybe pushing out content, and sometimes it gets a bit hard to maintain your, I would say, trust lah, but hard to deal with like insecurity or uncertainty that then people start like the significant other might start pulling the cosplayer down. I would say in that situation, if your significant other doesn't support you as much as in cosplaying, try to like talk through with each other, because communication is key, and enforce trust within your hobby. And whenever you can, even if he or she doesn't like to cosplay, bring them along, just like show like, this is what I do. You don't have to force the hobby onto them and like, make them wear everything. But a couple that like, stays together, have good communication will like, eventually last,
That's true, very true. Very good advice right there. Stefan, I see you have a question.
Yes, I do.
add?
Okay. Next question is like, can you elaborate on what kind of cosplay jobs you have heard of or taken before? Like just now, Ellie mentioned
The
birthday
birthday
party.
party.
What about Dova? Do you have like something?
Usually get hired for like gaming roadshows or events. Like some of the things are like in companies like Armageddon, it's hard one, MSI and things like that, and also Garena. Most unique one was actually this uni convocation event. So we were like,
Wow.
and in an actual graduation event, like people were in robes and stuff, and then I remember there were like stormtroopers coming in. It was so cool. That was
What
like the
uni
most
is
unique.
that?
Where?
Point College.
Wow.
They're like the arts college, so it makes sense. Kind of like I was jealous, I wish my uni did that.
UOW.
Uh,
You're doing UOW. UOW, listen
Yeah.
up. Time to start the game.
yeah. There's also like fun runs. I remember doing one for GSC. It's like a GSC fun run. They bring parents and kids out. Like it's just like a jog around the park, and then we cosplayed. I cosplayed Elsa, so all the kids were going crazy. Of course.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
it's nice.
Yeah, you look like Elsa too. So I
Yeah.
would believe you're Elsa if I was a kid, It's like,
Yeah, thank you.
Please sign my hand.
Usually the kids, they just want like hold your hand or give you a hug, things like that. Yeah.
Imagine a small hand just grabbing yours. Like,
Yeah.
please. Oh my heart. I'm just imagining and I'm just making myself all only.
You're not wrong.
Have you guys done anything like specifically physically on yourself to portray a character even more accurate than it is? Let's go with Ellie. Oh, wait, Ellie, I keep Ellie.
you got it. Don't worry. I'm like trying to adjust my headpiece. I'm just like here, which side? Yeah. Oh, okay. So for physical, on the physical aspect of preparations, the one I've done most, and I think like I did mention this before when I introduced, was prepare for Tifa. Tifa from Final Fantasy 7, because she is goals. She has that them abs, guys. Dude, and because she is like so many people's waifu, and she's also my waifu lah. So it's like I don't want to disappoint people. So I don't think it's long, but for 1 month I did very intensive training. Like I think I worked out like every week for 5 days at minimum. And apart from that, I also started like to, I wouldn't say diet, like very like serious diet, but I tried to play around with the diets, like intermittent fasting, trying to like work out what works for me. And it was good because I wasn't. I had a friend, my very close friend, who is like really like a fitness junkie, and he always takes things to the extreme. He's telling me like, oh, if you want to do it, you can do it. I'm like, yeah, I can do it, but I won't do it in the extent of my health, you know.
True. Don't
So I do
overdo
it slowly, and I was really proud because at the end of the day, I felt, even though I didn't have the pack she did, I did this for AMG last year. I felt as strong as she did. I was able to like go down, pull the poses that she does, and feel the embodiment of the character. Yeah, and I think the best part of it, it introduced me to like a more fit lifestyle. And even though I don't do the gung ho like 5 days a week countdown, I'm still able to have that strength, that core strength with me, and like take care of my diet. And it's a real pat in your back, you know, when you are able to reach your goal to become a character. Of course, with or without a character, as a person also, you know, fitness is important, your health is important, especially now.
Yeah, true. Stefan, would you like to ask the last question?
Yeah, this is, I think, specifically for me and then for people that doesn't know. So what's the one thing you wish people knew about cosplaying? Right, the difficulties, the struggles, and the rewards. So maybe Dova, you want to go with that?
Okay, sure. One thing I wish they knew. Cosplay is not a useless hobby. You can learn so many different skills from cosplay if you try. For example, it's just a short list, but it's not a full list. Like you can learn basic DIY skills, like how to do woodworking, leatherworking, sewing, crafting, painting, that. Hairstyling, which came in very useful during this MCO. Like I cut the hair for my brother, for my father, yeah, everyone.
That's nice.
Yeah. And then you learn like things like social and public facing skills, how to talk, how to interact with people. I used to be a very shy person. Like I couldn't even look people in the eyes. So like cosplaying helped to bring me out my shell and like how to talk to people like a normal person. Then other than that, I also learned like graphic design, photo editing, photography, posing, all sorts of things. So yeah, you can really learn so much from cosplaying. So people think like it's just a useless hobby or you're wasting money, wasting time, you look weird, you're like, or some people have the idea that you cosplay to like the more gravure, and I'm not pronouncing correctly, the more sexy side of cosplay. So most people think cosplay is only that, but it's not. It's actually a very fun and wholesome hobby.
Yep.
That's a great share right there. For Ellie, how about you?
For me, this is like a recent like thing I wish I knew. This is more of if you're trying to make it like as a cosplay idol or influencer, or I think anybody in the public eye lah, that I wish I knew that when you get serious about it, like it actually takes so much character evaluation, you know. You really start to question on who you are, what you're cosplaying for, what you're trying to accomplish when you're a cosplayer. And the same thing as how Dova, kind of the same thing, Dova said that you learn so many things, skills. You also start to learn more about yourself and you develop with it, because essentially when you cosplay, you are trying to accurately portray a different character. Then you start to see what you like, and then you know it's very easy, especially when you cosplay character after character like every single week. Then you start to lose yourself. It's very like philosophical to say, but you kind of learn a lot more about yourself when you take one step back. And it's actually very interesting to see character development out of it.
Aw, that's great.
I actually have there is a website out there that I found out. It's called Humble Bundle. There is a bundle right now.
Yeah, for
There's
cosplay, right?
everything cosplay.
Yeah.
Oh,
They teach you about
Yeah.
they teach you about makeup, getting started, making props and everything. It's all there.
Yeah,
You want to check
for
it
a
out?
discounted price.
Yeah, it's like I think
All the books you need.
Yeah,
$15.
It's, for those
Okay.
who are cosplaying, you know, like some of them are like Kinpatsu, some of them are Kamui. Those books are there.
So you guys, if you are interested in like learning how to make your own costume, getting into cosplay, you guys can try Humble Bundle. This is not sponsored by Humble Bundle.
No,
At all.
not hashtag ad. No,
Yeah.
don't have that.
All right. So that was last question. We'll move on to the Q&A right now. Is that okay with you guys?
Of course.
Alrighty. So I think we have a question right here. I'm gonna ask it's how do you manage your space in your room with all your cosplay items like all around? Shall we start with Ellie?
Yeah.
Oh no, here.
Wrong side. Okay, so for me, I'm blessed enough to be able to obtain some space. But even so, I think eventually cosplayers, especially when you cosplay your props, you will run out of space, like no matter what. I think I would advise that you need to manage how much space you can utilize, and because you're not living alone unless you are. But if you are not living alone, you need to be mindful of the people who are living in your house. I think just space management. Think about how to store stuff, and also if you can try to get like those storage boxes that can stack up, because then you fully utilize space, like not just width but also height. And it's better too because you get to organize your cosplays, and your cosplays don't get like mixed up all here there. Then you start like, oh no, where's my wig? Where's my suit? Yeah. But if you really cannot, there are also different ways to store your costumes. I know certain shops online, cosplay shops, that they provide storage rental. So you can just pay like a certain amount, and every month you just pay, and then you just keep it there. So that's also a good alternative. Or if not, there are also more commercial shops that have storage spaces. If not, you find a friend with a lot of space lah, then you can ask.
No, ambil jap. Thank you. That's so out of character. He does not speak in Malay. For Dova, how about you?
Organization is the most important thing ever. Like I have boxes of wigs. I organize them by color, so like all the red wigs are in one box. Yeah. And then costumes, they definitely take up your whole room, your whole cupboard, your whole closet. So it's also important to Marie Kondo once in a while. You need to know which one you can give up and which one you want to keep. But it's very important to learn to let go. Like I used to have a huge problem, like my room was bursting. So eventually I have to make a decision which one I can sell or give away. I found out it makes me happy to see someone else wearing a costume that I used to wear. Like especially when you made the costume, it's like so much of your blood, sweat and tears inside, and then like you see someone else wearing it, so it bittersweet. So it feels like it has a new home, like someone else loves it as much as me. So yeah, the hardest thing is learning to let go.
Watching your baby scratch, and then you're like, goodbye, child.
Goodbye, friend.
Sadness right now.
It's something I still need to learn too, because like I'm still holding like the first cosplay that I ever
I
made.
know. Yeah, I still keep the first costume I ever wore. Like that one is like I would never let it go, but the rest is just like no choice lah.
How do female cosplayers handle harassment and overbearing fans? Could be like running up to you with the camera. It's a bit scary sometimes.
Yeah. Shall we start with Dova?
Okay. How to handle them? Actually, depending on what they want to do with you or what they want from you lah. Like if they just want a simple like selfie or handshake, that's fine. If they want something more, like everyone has their own standards or their own borderline, right? If you cross that, then like I would find a way to let them know politely and without embarrassing them that I'm sorry, I don't do this, like I'm sorry, I'm not comfortable with this. That's always the hardest challenge for me, to find a way to let them know.
How about you, Ellie?
I think the same thing as what Dova has mentioned earlier about the no means no.
Yeah.
If you're really uncomfortable, say no. If they are still persistent, you don't be afraid to get help. That's why you should always have a cosplay support there as like or also like events, they have security. It's a bit hard to find, but you should always take note like where the securities are. So if really someone is harassing you, you know where to go. You know how to get yourself to a safe place. Besides that, okay, if you really have somebody harassing you online, I would say the best thing is try to remain professional. If really they do not understand, you can block the person. You can like tell them off. But of course, I think one thing I just want to say is like know a bit of a law, so you don't like get yourself sued.
Oh.
And the same thing goes like if there is someone stalking you, you should be able to protect yourself. Like know when you should draw the line, when you need like a restraining order, anything like that. This goes from like small cosplayers to big cosplayers anywhere.
That's great advice there. Thank you guys for that.
Thank you everybody for watching. For those who have stayed from the beginning to the end, thank you so much for dealing with like technical issues or any like awkward pauses. Appreciate everything that you guys do and stayed here all the way. And also those who have commented and asked questions. I hope you guys have learned something and like found our advice useful. And also a big shout out to Battle Arena from me and Dova, for inviting us here. We appreciate it. I've been a supporter of Battle Arena since like it was open to the public, so it's really great to like collaborate in multiple events, and even now, even with the COVID season. Besides that, also follow my page.
Yeah.
My page.
See you guys when events can be held again.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions or you can just ask me. Feel free to ask if you have any questions. Like I don't mind. It's nice to share.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like their page, follow them on Instagram, and all the other social medias. But I think you can find it all in their Facebook page. Am I right, guys?
Yeah.
All right. So, thank you guys again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay safe, everybody.
Thanks so much for having me.
Hey, no
Thank
worries.
you.
Thank you guys so much for coming by as well. Thank you guys again so much for joining our podcast. It's been a 1.5-hour podcast. And for those of you who joined and stayed with us from the beginning to the end, I appreciate you. Stefan appreciates you for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I learned a lot. I think that people that are watching, the audience that's watching that doesn't know anything about it, I think they can take in a lot today.
Yeah.
It's way more than just wearing costumes.
Yes.
Way more.
Just a shout out. If you guys haven't liked this video or like our YouTube live stream for this podcast, make sure to do it. Don't forget
Like it.
Yeah, and follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. I am Hamlet VA, also known as Amanda, and this is
Demigods or Stephen.
Battle Arena wishes everyone to stay safe and stay healthy during these still crucial times, I would say. Even though MCO has been slightly lifted, it's in the recovery mode. Doesn't mean we all can just like run around and be free. We still have to follow a little bit of SOPs here and there. So guys, stay safe, stay healthy. Battle Arena loves you. I will see you in the next podcast. Cheers, though.